All right, lights, camera.
And
Are you on?
my ears are almost too big for this thing.
My head is too small for this thing, and it's not adjustable.
It is too.
It is?
Yeah, you just pull hard.
Well, I want it to shrink, though.
Wait, your head's too big or your head's too small?
My head's too small. So I said.
How the hell, how's that happen?
I don't know, but it like sinks down on my ears.
You need like a kid's version?
I need a little pad right here.
You get you a little yarmulke to sit up there. Just wear that.
Like a yoga block.
Yes.
On the top of my head.
Can we please? Like a little donut. We'll get something colored in pink.
All right, intro.
Hokey Pokey Politics. Adam Boogus here.
Episode 6.
This is Todd Falone, if he didn't want to introduce himself.
Say at that time.
All right, yeah. That's fair.
And what are we drinking?
We're drinking Knob Creek 12. It's the same thing we drank a couple weeks ago.
Well, not everybody hears every episode.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
We're both pretty big Knob Creek fans. We both like it.
So,
I mean, they can still see your face.
I know. I was trying to withhold the comment.
Okay.
They can see the face. That's okay. So you wanted to talk about the January 6th pardons.
Yeah.
That Trump executed. No.
Yes.
No. That Trump executed on.
He executed.
He executed the pardons on his first or second day in office.
I had a terrible comment to make, but I didn't do it. I'm holding back, which is good.
So we each have a comment that
we just got
that we didn't let go.
January 6th, 2021 started out as a great day where we're going to go down to the Capitol. We're going to walk to the Capitol and we're going to show Congress that they need to listen to us and they need to stop the vote, stop the count. We got to stop the count. We got to stop a legal proceeding, a governmental proceeding. That's what we need to do.
I don't think that's what was said, but if that's the game you want to play, that's
pretty much verbatim.
I'm used to that from Democrats, so go right ahead.
Okay. I mean, yeah, and not agreeing or not listening to the facts is what I'm used to with the Republicans, so it's fair.
I mean, the facts are that he said we're going to go down there and we're going to protest peacefully.
Peaceful. What were they protesting?
The vote.
Yeah, the counting of the votes.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're going to try to stop it. They're just going to protest it.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
I mean, they have a right to protest.
100. No, you can.
All right,
you definitely can.
So you wanted to talk about the pardons. I didn't know you wanted to rehash the day, but you wanted to talk about the pardons. If you want to rehash the day, we can do that.
No. I mean, I know I watched it. So
I didn't because live. In take one when this wasn't recording, I told you I didn't watch it.
Using some of that. No, I watched it, and what's weird with me is this goes back to a lot of the other things we've talked about, where if people in your party are being stupid and doing stupid things, it should be okay to be like, man, those guys are being idiots. I don't agree with that. Still agree with the party, still like the leaders of the party. Those guys are being a little much. I can do that. I can definitely do that. And I can look at both sides and say, man, you're taking it a little too far. And in my mind, when a person, I mean, a lot of those people they had flags, and I'm not saying they went there with the intent of using the flagpoles as weapons, but ultimately that's what they became. And there is hundreds of videos of cops being dragged out, cops being smashed up against the walls, cops being hit in the head with fire extinguishers, being jabbed. One guy had broken ribs from getting hit in the ribs with a flagpole. There's one particular video that the guy just got released that the cop was down completely, looked almost unconscious, and he was just hitting him in the back with his flagpole. And the thought that the president will use his pardon power to release somebody who physically assaulted a police officer, in my mind, is just despicable or deplorable, either one.
Well, he's a despicable deplorable, right?
I mean, that we can do that. Yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with the pardons for the people who were there that were not committing the vicious acts. And I don't know how many of them there were. If you walked the halls and you weren't destroying things, yes, it is public property.
There was something very odd about that day.
Okay.
Because the videos that I've watched, I don't understand why the police were removing barricades and waving people into the building. That's the part I don't get.
Yeah. So there are videos that were released after the fact. I watched it live on the news, like literally as it played out, I was watching it live. There, you could at that time get on Facebook Live and watch it from somebody's live Facebook public feed and see what was going on. And at that time, they had pushed the cops back so far. They were so outnumbered that there were times where they ran back and they ran away. There were times where they had a hold of the handrails and the people were just pushing them through. I mean, literally just pushing everything through. And to the point that there are cops that you can watch in the video that are screaming in agony and pain because they're pinned up against the wall between the mob of people, the fence, and the Capitol building.
But that still doesn't justify moving barricades to the side, opening locked doors, waving people in, and then almost acting like a tour guide as you walk them through the building, and then actually watch them take selfies and go into areas they're not supposed to be in, that the public's not normally allowed in, taking photos, and the police are just standing there watching this happen. None of that makes sense to me.
There are videos, and I'm not going to sit there and say that I know for a fact that they're not fake. There are videos of several of the insurrectionists walking through there the day before. They were guided through the building by members of Congress. They were in town already. They knew that what they were doing, and they were, in my opinion, scoping the place out. So now
nobody,
there's video of them.
I just want to make this point. Nobody involved in that day has been charged with insurrection. Not one person.
Okay.
So we really should stop calling this an insurrection.
Well,
and we really should stop calling them insurrectionists, because it's not true. And truth matters. And it would be the first unarmed insurrection in history.
Unarmed being without guns?
Yes.
Because they were definitely armed. And I think you will even agree that you can be armed without having a weapon, without having a gun, I mean.
Right, but you're not going to overthrow a government that way.
You could overthrow some police officers. You could overthrow a building. You could take...
Not if the police officers are doing their job.
What are they supposed to do, mow them over?
Yes.
So what would have happened that day? I mean, there's one lady killed, and the entire right has got her absolutely martyred right now because she's a hero. She broke the law.
I have a very much different take than the right does on this incident.
So
I'm surprised you don't know this.
Miss Babbitt breaks a window. Feet away from
you have a government building that is supposed to be 100% secure, right? The first person that walks through that door uninvited takes a bullet to the head.
Okay.
And then that stops everybody else.
I don't disagree.
That's what should have happened. The problem is, I feel that way about the right, but the left thinks they can storm the Supreme Court when they don't like a decision that's coming down. They think they can storm the government buildings in other cities when they don't like a decision that's coming down. They think they can burn cities to the ground.
Okay.
So, well, do they not?
So can I honestly say that calling that the left?
That is the left.
Okay. So then this is the right.
Yes. I didn't say it wasn't.
And I'm saying I can look at idiots on the left and be like, you guys went too far.
And I just said they should have been shot in the head.
Right.
First person that went through the building.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how I feel about it.
So if you
have a government protected, secure facility, nobody should be getting through.
Right.
But there's a lot of problems with that day. A lot of problems. One is they were forewarned that there could be an issue, and they were offered by President Trump,
well, hold on,
National Guard, and Nancy Pelosi said, "Oh, no, thank you." So here's the thing. They wanted that to happen. The left is tickled that happened because it gives them a platform to stand on where they can now talk down to the right. Fine. That's politics. It is what it is. But to say that, these people are insurrectionists, that's just wrong.
I do believe there are some that were given.
There may have been one or two that wanted that to happen, but there's video out there. So the other thing that the right knew that day was they knew there were plants in that assembly, in that group of people. They knew that BLM was going to be there. They knew that Antifa was going to be there. They knew that there were going to be, and the FBI still won't answer this. The FBI has been asked many times, did you have sources in that crowd? And they still won't answer it. But
FBI has sources in every major.
Of course they do.
100%.
But there was literally, there's a video of a guy who's yelling at the crowd, like trying to incite the crowd. Come on, you guys, we got to get in there. We got to break these windows. And several people from the right turned around and say, who are you? Are you Antifa? We don't do that here. We don't act like that.
They did.
And they're trying to get this guy under control. Huh?
So you're telling me
who did though? You're saying that the right did. I don't know who they are.
Well, Trump just pardoned
them. Yes.
So if they were the left,
well, he pardoned some of them too. Then
no,
I mean that's
the thing is there's
the
zero
thing is
proof.
He pardoned everybody,
right? But there is zero proof that there was anybody from the left there.
Right.
Zero. You can't look you cannot look at one person in that place and say you're Antifa.
No, that's
you're
not
BLM. 100%.
That's not true, because that particular guy, the right has been looking for him and they can't find him. In fact, he went on. This was brought up in the Senate hearing. He was put on the FBI's wanted list as a person that they wanted to question. 12 hours later, he was removed. Okay. And so they're asking the FBI director, who is that?
Right.
And she won't answer it.
Yeah.
And they're saying, you know who this is because he was on your website one day and then the next day he was gone. Who is he? And won't answer it. So there is a problem there. And listen,
right.
It is what it is. It's the political game. I get it. But when you're talking about these pardons, so the specific, I don't know about all of the instances you brought up. I haven't done enough research, but I did look up that one instance that you're talking about where the guy dragged the cop and started hitting him with the flagpole. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know what incited that. It is absolutely wrong. What
incited it.
No, you don't. It was absolutely wrong. Shouldn't have happened. I do know that at the trial, the guy admitted. He was like, yes, I did it. Yes, I did it. I'm guilty. Didn't know it was a cop.
Most of them did.
Didn't know it was a cop.
The guy's in full freaking riot gear.
Right. So he's like, why is a Capitol cop in full riot gear? Didn't expect that. He grabbed it. He saw black boots. It doesn't matter. It does matter.
You can't hit another human with a pole
and not
go to prison. And then you have the president of the United States come out and say, what you did is okay.
I'm not justifying
That's what just happened.
I'm not justifying it. What I'm telling you is what he said. And you don't get to question what he said. That's what he said.
Okay. But either way, regardless if he says, oh, I didn't know if it was a cop. I don't care if he thought it was a cop. The fact is he hit another human being with a pole. You deserve to go to prison. And he's not. He is now out. That exact guy is out of prison.
But do you put that same qualification on the left?
100%.
How many of those rioters that burned our stuff to the ground are in prison?
Every one of them should go to jail.
But how many of them did?
That's not my fault.
Right, but you're not all up in arms about it either.
I'm not up in arms about this. I'm just telling you.
You were talking about it
because could you imagine right now if Minnesota, they arrest 200 guys there that burnt stuff. They got into the police station. They burnt the police cars. They beat the police. Joe Biden comes in and says, hey, you guys are good. You're free to go.
That's essentially what happened.
It is not what happened.
Yes, it is. The DAs dropped the cases.
Joe Biden did not pardon them.
Which is under the Biden administration.
You just took 1,500 people, sets of juries, peers in our community who sat down and sat in a trial. They took time out of their day.
But you didn't let me finish. I wasn't done with that guy. I'm just telling you what he said at the trial.
Okay.
That he thought it was Antifa. He dragged the guy over. He hit him with the flagpole.
Makes it all the better.
Fine.
Okay.
He admitted it. No, it doesn't make it better. I'm just saying he admitted it. He got sentenced to 7.5 years of prison. He served his sentence. He got off for good behavior. He was released in October. He wasn't released when Trump signed the pardon. He was already out.
Maybe the one. Okay. But I can tell you right now, there are others out there right now who, and there are a lot of them.
There were others who had cases pending. They are pardoned for that, but they are not pardoned. There's a lot of them who are just criminals. There's a lot of them who are just.
There's already one that's been rearrested.
Right. There's one that got shot, but there's a lot of them that are just criminals.
Yeah.
And the charges that they have that were pending prior to that incident, those charges aren't dropped. They're still going to jail.
Oh, for the ones that are before
Yeah.
that.
And you're
Yeah.
wrong when you say that they didn't get good sentencing when they were convicted. They did. In fact, the sentencing was extremely heavy. That's part of Trump's problem. Was the sentencing way outnumbered the actual, what they actually did. That was part of the problem.
That's fine. I mean,
that is the case.
I disagree wholeheartedly, but that's fine.
Now, I will agree with you. If you hit someone, if you hit a cop, especially, I'm big time. You don't hit cops. I mean, if you assault a police officer, to me, that's a mandatory prison sentence. So yeah, I agree with you. What I wish he would have done, I'm fine with him pardoning the majority of the people that were there, because it was definitely a political hit job to arrest that many people just because they happened to be standing on the lawn or walked in, followed the crowd into the building. But if you committed a violent act, absolutely you should go to jail. Absolutely, without question. The problem is the left doesn't put the same onus on its own people.
That is not true at all.
We just watched it happen, man. You can't.
Where?
Where
did you see it happen? Please enlighten me.
The left literally burned cities to the ground, and the DA dropped the charges. And you had people on the left raising money. That is his justice system. Whether or not you want to accept that is the case. That is his justice system. So you had people on the left raising money to bail these people out.
So you're telling me that Ferguson, Missouri, which was Trump's time in office.
Okay.
That was his DA that didn't file charges on all those people that burnt the buildings?
That was a leftist DA.
No, you're in a Republican county,
so
in a Republican state, in a Republican presidency, city, and you're going to say the leftists have infiltrated?
You think Ferguson is a Republican area?
I think Ferguson is in a Republican. Is it in a Republican area? Missouri is a Republican area. To be honest with you,
I don't know. I don't.
Does the city vote Democrat?
Of course. Wait. Ferguson was the guy who got shot.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with this.
Yes, there was.
That has nothing to do with this. I'm talking about. They burnt
half of Ferguson.
I'm talking about BLM and Antifa.
That's where it started. That's where BLM started.
Okay, but you had cities all across Minnesota, the biggest one.
Yeah.
Washington D.C. 2 weeks before January 6th happened, was on fire. Those people weren't prosecuted for the most part.
Okay. And that is an issue.
That matters.
I'm not saying it doesn't. Because the thing that doesn't matter about that is these people didn't, if you are in Minnesota, you're in Kenosha, Wisconsin, you're causing major crimes. You're burning stuff. You're not just protesting. You should absolutely go to jail. And there were thousands of people at both of those places that got arrested. What happened to them? I don't know.
Yes, because that's the problem. They got arrested, and then the DA dropped the charges, so they were never convicted. So everything they did is completely fine. So that's the message. That's the message that goes out. Everything you did is completely fine because we're not going to convict you for it.
That's exactly the message that I feel just went out last week.
They served their sentences, though.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
And
many of them did.
But now that guy who we're talking about, who beat a cop, who now is now pardoned, now has nothing on his record. He has nothing on his record.
There's no way anybody's going to forget that happened. There's no way.
Regardless.
And I told you, if you commit a violent act, I agree with you. It should stay on your record.
Right.
What I wish he had done is I wish he had waited for his attorney general, whatever she is, Pam Bondi. I wish he had waited for her to be sworn in, and then said, I want you to look at all these cases.
Right.
And anybody who committed violent acts, we're going to leave theirs as is. We might change the sentencing a little bit if we can, whatever. I don't even know how that works. But everybody else, we're going to pardon. I would have been happier about that,
I think.
But watching the left spin its head over this when we had to endure, 200 days of cities being burnt to the ground, I'm sorry, I can't feel really bad about it. I don't like it, but, politics goes both ways. So
it does.
Yep.
It does. And I think the issue that I have is the where I can stand back and say, if you burnt a building and you're on video doing it, you're going to jail.
The other thing is most of these people who were waiting for trial, they were in jail. Like, they didn't get bonded out. They were still in jail. Mm-hmm. So they've served they've served since that day until now.
I don't disagree.
So
that came off most of their records.
Right. But they still served their time, which is way different than just, hey, you've been arrested because you tried to break into a police officer, assault police, burn their precinct to the ground, and now we're just going to let you go. That is way different.
I don't know that that's true.
That is true.
I don't know.
I mean, research it and then we can talk about it next time. But that is absolutely true.
Thank you for listening to part 1 of episode 6. Stay tuned for part 2, where we dive into President Trump's first 2 weeks in office. Help us build our audience by liking this episode, sharing it with friends, leaving a review or comment, and suggesting topics you'd like us to talk about. See you on the next one.